Hello, and welcome to Rosa Laura. If this is your first time visiting the channel, it's so lovely to meet you. And if you're returning, it's so wonderful to have you back. My name is Rosa, I'm a digital artist, and this is probably a part one of my Artfight series for 2025. I have been having so much fun so far with my little Artfight journey. I have completed, at time of recording, 5 pieces for Artfight, which was actually the goal that I set for myself in my recent video where I talked about Artfight, should you do it, should you not do it. My goal for this year, more than just doing those 5 pieces, was to target a bunch of different people and have a lot of fun. I try to target people who I usually haven't done art before. I think it's really fun to use the random user, random character tool to find people. And I also like to look on search terms as well. A couple years ago, when I was in the midst of a really awesome Blades in the Dark game, I actually looked for other Blades in the Dark OCs to draw. And this year, one of the things that I looked up was disco. So this is Cosmi, and Cosmi obviously has a really awesome disco-inspired look. She has this holographic bodysuit, and one of the things on the character permissions for Cosmi was making her a new outfit. And so I wanted to do something that was like, 70s, 80s inspired. I didn't want to change her hair. I thought it just looked really perfect, but I gave her some new earrings. I changed up the kind of way that her stuff was cut. I wanted to show off her little tummy. And I still wanted to incorporate the holographic nature of her original outfit. So I wanted to do a little background with like a little galaxy theme. In Clip Studio Paint, I actually got this really lovely effect by using the dappled light brush. I think it's default and comes with the program. So if you're ever looking for a good way to do space, the dappled light brush is 100% your friend for sure. These pieces really start coming together when I put the shading and highlights on them, and Cosmi is no exception, especially when I start getting the shading on the holographic. I actually shaded in like a dark purple, which was fun, and then the planet, just getting some little streaks in there, making sure that it looks super awesome. The little bands of color that you saw was actually a really light overlay. I just wanted to bring that holographic look to the entire piece, even if just subconsciously. And here she is. She looks so cute. She's a little disco darling, and I absolutely could not be happier with her. Our next character is Serene. So Serene, or character permissions rather, said that the creator wanted to give her a little bit of a different outfit. Specifically, they were like, hey, I'm looking for a new outfit for this character. The age was like 38, and the character description on the Artfight page was that she's supposed to be really tall and kind of curvy. So I wanted to really emphasize that. She's also a bit of a villain character, so I wanted to really emphasize this sort of domineering presence. I wanted to give her a little bit of gravitas, and of course there's this like spectral snake that's curled around her, and so I wanted to have fun with that as well. This is the one piece in my Artfight series, at least in Artfight Part 1, that's going to be a lineless render. Usually for Artfight, I switch between a few different things. I like to do lined renders, which is what Cosmi was. Serene is going to be a lineless render, which is where I do a sketch and then I do color underneath, merge those layers together, and then I sort of blend out the entire experience for a little bit more of a painterly look, and then I have some chibis. This video is going to have all 3 of those different styles present, so I hope that you enjoy all of them. The lineless render look is definitely the one that takes the longest, but I thought with the character design and the way that I wanted it to look, it would be the most fitting for this character. I wanted to really highlight the idea of the satin of this dress. I wanted her to look really mature. One of the directions on the Artfight page was to try to keep her hair looking really angular, so even though I'm going to render it out and try to make it look like quote-unquote real hair, I still wanted to retain the shape. so that it was in the style of the original artist and that their requests are being honored. Something that's really important on Artfight to me is to make sure to basically read everything that you can on that character. When artists put forth the time and effort to really detail to you as an artist, hey, here's who this person is, here's what they're about, here's their attitude, here's their aesthetic, that means a lot to me. And I want to make sure that I respect that as well. So Serene is coming along really nicely. I know that the render feels like it's taking forever, but that's because there's 100 little micro strokes that are kind of happening in process here. So you'll have to bear with me. Working on her was really fun, and just that it was nice to do a character that had a little bit more of that villain vibe. She definitely has a really certain presence. I really love her ears. They were supposed to be really far out there, and they look a little disconnected at the moment. I'm actually going to merge them a little bit more into the head, which I just did, and we're going to be working on this hair, shaping it up and making sure that it looks really good. For Artfight, oftentimes I'll prep my canvas in advance, and all that means is I will get the reference photo for the character that I want, I'll write down their ID number and who made them. Though this year, with some of the upgrades that the Artfight team was made, one of the best ones that they've made is the attack button. So basically, on a character's profile, you can directly just hit the attack button and it'll automatically generate like, hey, here's the person that you are doing an attack on and here's their creator, which is a great upgrade in my opinion, because before, if you didn't write down that Artfight ID number, you were screwed, especially if you didn't have them bookmarked. I was honestly really bad at bookmarking characters this year. I was just kind of plucking different designs off of Artfight and being like, okay, you and you and you. So I'm really glad that I made sure to write down all of those Artfight IDs, otherwise I would have been totally cooked. I really love the design of this dress. I wanted to give her something that felt a little bit more mature. So kind of the theming in my mind was like an evil cocktail dress, if that makes sense. I wanted it to be a little slinky. I wanted her to be giving villain, but I wanted it to be, you know, like a really adult sort of like look where she could feel kind of like sexy and evil. And I think that's really important when you have a villain character. When the artist commented on this piece when it went up, one of the things that they said is they really liked the snake and how the snake turned out, and so I'm really happy that they ended up liking it so much. There's Serene. She looks great, and I'm really happy with how the piece turned out. My next piece is of Oakland. Oakland is a Starlight Express OC. So I have never seen Starlight Express, though I have seen Wait in the Wings video on the Starlight Express. And I want to say that I'm like a fan from afar. I love musicals. I think the idea of doing a musical on roller skates is absolutely insane. And I didn't really know that people were making OCs for Starlight Express. I can't remember how I stumbled across this person's profile. But I saw that they had, you know, all these sort of like Starlight Express OCs, and I was like, I totally want to do that. Now, granted, this is a special Artfight entry because it's technically illegal. I had to change my approach because that character over on the right, Slick, is a canon character. Oakland is shipped by her creator with Slick, and I wanted to do something special as far as ship art because I was like, ooh, it's always so exciting and fun to have your character shipped with another character, and it feels awesome to get that art. But I realized after taking a look at the Artfight rules and asking in the Artfight server, that's not legal. Because the individual doesn't own that character, you can either alter a canon character until they're kind of like distinct unto themselves, or you can just do things like an item, like the coat that I put with Oakland, that sort of symbolizes that character. But at that point, I was really committed to the idea of having Oakland and Slick doing this sort of like buddy, romantic skate together. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna be bad. I think I'm gonna have a little moment for me. and I'm going to do the first art, which is just this one of Evelyn where she's on her own. I have her all nice and highlighted, but then a piece with the two of them together. And I ended up DMing the piece of Slick and Oakland to Oakland's creator, and there was so much excitement about it, and it made me feel really justified for being like, okay, even though this doesn't count for Artfight and I can't actually submit this in the form that I originally wanted to, I'm doing something nice for another artist, and it's like, you know, it's everybody's dream to have like their fun ship art. So I was really happy that I could make that happen. And honestly, I really love the way that these chibis came out. I love doing chibis in general. I think they're so cute and so fun. They don't take as much time as other pieces of art, but I still think that there's the possibility for a lot of creativity and a lot of like just fun with them. So I'm really happy with that. So here's the legal version of Oakland, and here's the one of her and Slick. And again, I'm just really happy I could do something nice for that artist. Next up is Evelyn. So Evelyn is an OC from Your Prisoner. Or actually, she's not an OC. She is like the girl. She's a canon character from Your Prisoner. I actually recently did a art for Your Prisoner, which was of Guy, commissioned by one of the people who works on it for the creators as sort of like a congratulations for making it as far in the contest as they had. Unfortunately, Your Prisoner didn't make it to the next round of the contest, which was really sad, but it's still a really awesome comic. So if you like this character, if you think she looks cool, then you should 100% check it out. I wanted to do Evelyn in something without her hat. I know that her hat is iconic, but I wanted to give her this sort of like office look. It's like I almost want to say office siren. I guess that would fit her sort of theming, but like the fishnets, the little, you know, the shirt, she just looks really cute. I wanted her to look very 1940s chic, and I think that I really accomplished that. Her hair is gonna look so shiny, and her eyes are gonna look so glowy, and she's definitely not looking evil at all. I don't think that she looks like she could be any kind of antagonistic force, and I think that she looks absolutely beautiful. So here's Evelyn all dolled up. Very happy with her, especially those little pearl earrings. Just a lovely little touch. And the last character that's going to be in this set is Dani. So Dani, from what I understand, is somebody's sort of like magical girl OC. They also use her in Roblox. So there was like a Roblox reference picture as well. And I just wanted to kind of take this design and make it my own, kind of do a little fun piece of art for this individual. I love the idea of that magical girl staff. So I was like, okay, so we merged the idea of like a magical girl. I'm going to make her a little bit more human. I debated on whether or not I wanted her to have the cat mouth for a little while. But I think in the long run, I liked the human mouth a little bit more. When referencing the reference photo, I realized that this is really, really pastel. Once I start filling in the little pastel shades on the sweater and the skin and the hair, I realized kind of just how similar all of these colors were, and it challenged me to kind of like honestly tell them apart on my own screen. But I wanted to make sure that I made this character as close to that reference image as possible while still translating her into my style. I love this big, cozy sweatshirt. I love the idea of a magical girl in a sweatshirt. That just sounds really nice. Love the unicorn horn. The staff is just so iconic. And it was just a real blast to do. This design really like tapped into my own kind of sense of childlike wonder. I just really enjoyed being able to bring her to life and giving this artist what they wanted as far as just like taking this character and doing something fun with her. I think that in looking at Dani, it just reminded me of like, you know, playing pretend, having fun, being a kid, and it just really kind of invigorated me. And I think that's part of what Artfight is really about, looking at other people's senses of creativity, having fun with their designs, really getting in touch with what makes people happy, and being able to act on that. Artfight is a time to really lift up other artists and have a lot of fun with them. So it was a lot of fun to take Dani's design and make her my own. Again, I use that dappled light brush, just a little fun background of my own design with some little stars, and she's looking really good. Here she is, all done. Little hoodie, sparkles in the eyes. She just looks fantastic. And of course, thanks to my patrons who help me make art, especially Banjo, Confocal Clips, Deator, and Firepit. You guys are the best. And of course, you. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to check out another video, there will be one in the lower part of this video. Please like and subscribe, and if you like what I do, support me on Patreon. And remember, it's all gonna be okay. See you next time.